All right. Sorry about that, guys. We are back. We are back. Let's go. Let's go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, peeps. Sorry about that. Let's see. We had two people left. Let's see. Who was left? Who was left, y'all? Because I didn't forget. Who was at the bottom?
Rodney.
Okay. Jamie and Rodney. No, was it Rodney? I thought Rodney had stopped talking already. My bad. And we're missing them. Okay, so while they're missing in action, we will move on because we do not want to waste any time. I want to hear everything you guys have to say about the topics that we have. Um, I did I did pick out a meme. Hold on, somebody just popped in. Oh, there you go. Rodney, it's on you, bud. Tell us about your proudest parent moment.
I already went.
Oh, that's what I thought. They told me it was you. Who
Oh, I'm
was
sorry. I
it?
thought
I
you
think it
asked
was
who was
Kurt.
missing.
Kurt, why don't you say something? Why you sitting up
He
there?
just chilling.
You on
I
mute.
said,
You had
Tell
a
us,
flow going. I didn't want to ruin that. You seem real into your next
Kurt,
topic.
Kurt, Kurt,
I
listen.
don't want to ruin your flow.
Tell us about your proudest parent moment.
Made me lose my train of thought. Accountability. So from it's like the accountability. I didn't have my dad growing up, and my mom wasn't very good either. So like in my predict like my daughters have games and events and recitals and all that kind of crap, but they know I'm gonna be there. Like it's not a question of if I'm gonna be there. It's like what time you showing up and that kind of stuff. But like, can you bring me? And it's little stuff they don't even think about it. Like them asking me, hey, when you come, can you? It's a when you, not are you coming. That little bit of accountability that they know I'm gonna be there. That made me sit. That's just good with me. It ain't a major thing, but every time they do it, it's like yeah, because they know I'm coming. It's not like a if I'm not there, it's very rare, and they're like, oh wow, that's different, you know. So I like that. I like how that feels, knowing they can count on you. But that comes from years of consistency and building that kind of trust. So I dig that. Are you muted?
you're muted.
Oh, my bad. I know that feeling all too well. Jamie, it's on you. We're gonna go in a different order. What is your proudest parent moment?
Uh, listen, just the response of "I love you" means a lot to me. I'm really proud of that because I guess me growing up, that wasn't something that was tossed around lightly or frequently. So just to have that change point to be able to tell my kids, "Hey, I love you," and they respond back, "Hey, love you too, love your pops," from that nature, and that's just one of those things that just had to push to get that response out of because it's not something that's, I guess, was natural in my family or, especially my upbringing. So real simple, just getting a response back, let them know they care, that they know I got their back.
Well, if they don't care, I care. Wink, wink. I love embarrassing people.
Hey, look,
Uh,
you gotta have that number one fan, boy. You gotta have that number one fan.
okay, guys, we're gonna jump right into the conversation. Our first topic, I did say that I had a little banner here. This is just something that we had posted on Hello Black Man, and it's just breaking generational trauma. Not all of us have it, but a lot of us do. Just that constant, nagging. And I talk to my daughter about this all the time. And it comes like even back from slavery, like us thinking that whoopings and beatings and things were what led people to be submissive. That's not where we are today. And so we are in our generation now, I think more so trying to listen and understand our kids than they did in the previous generations. Most days that don't work for me, and I'll be wanting to go back to, whoopings and stuff, but I'm trying to be a better parent. But first up, the first topic is um, children versus small adults. And I think Jay touched on this in her introduction about how she talks to her daughter and how she doesn't really talk to her like a kid. And I miss the mark sometimes on this, and it's because you don't want to overshare and you don't want to tell them too much because you don't want to take away their innocence. But at the same time, if you don't tell them, then you create an environment for them that they can't excel in because they don't know really what to expect when they go out in life. So
Yeah.
our first topic, the question says, At what age do we start teaching children to be independent? How much responsibility is too much responsibility? What do you wish you knew as a child, young adult, that could lead you to making decisions differently? And of course, you can answer those questions collectively in your answer, or you can do one or the other, whatever you want to do. Talk to us about responsibility, children, oversharing. What do you feel about that topic? Are they kids or are they small adults? Dave?
Don't mute your don't mute your mics. We just sitting around the table talking right now.
Well,
Well,
you can't talk over anybody. So, if you want
Yeah,
to go,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
go first, go.
well, I'll go first. Um, I don't call it just oversharing because times have really changed. They are learning a lot now at a very, very early age. I know, I think maybe last year, year before last, she was probably in the first grade or kindergarten. She was saying how the girl and the boy, it was his birthday and they were kissing behind the shelf in the library or something. So I have to try to be mindful of what's really going on. And it's really no thing of oversharing because all these little kid shows are not really little
Mm,
kid shows anymore. They
True,
touch on a
true.
lot of open stuff
right.
that we didn't know about when we were coming up. Like we weren't into crushes and kissing and having different type of relationships and all that type of stuff. And now everything is just out in the open in their TV shows. So you kind of have to get ahead of it because if
Hmm.
not, they're going to learn it with their peers.
Yeah,
They're not going to get the full gist of it. And by the time you think they're ready for it, they've already
too
had their
late.
own opinion and they think their certain way about it based on what the other kids think. So I
Absolutely.
just try to stay on top and give her what's real out there so that she can form her own opinion and can march to the beat of her own drum and not go based on what her friends are telling her
But
I
is
Jasmine,
right.
agree.
how do you decide like what's the like? I know how I do it, but how do you decide what like how you get ahead of everything? Because it's so much to get ahead of. My daughter's 15, and I don't want
Hmm.
to. I don't want to. I've seen her TikTok and YouTube all kind of stuff. I'm on top of that kind of stuff, but I
Hmm.
kind of play defense rather than like you trying to play offense and get ahead of it. I don't want to introduce them to something like, let me tell you about these lesbians. What is that? I don't want to throw them a bone that they're not ready to catch yet. You know what I mean?
That's
And
funny.
I spend a lot of time like building up trust with my kids, so they come and go, Daddy, what's a lesbian? Or they, what is this and what is that? And we have conversations about it. Like real conversation at the time, because that's when they had that small adult thing where if
Hmm.
you're ready to hear this, I'm gonna give it to you. But
Yeah.
I don't go seek it. You seem like it sounds like you go seeking topics to
No.
go, girl. Let me tell you, it's like nah,
Oh,
fuck
no, no, no,
no, like
no, no. Like, girl, let me tell you about this right here. It's just me hearing her talk about certain things, and I notice
okay,
what she's looking at on TV. So as I see things on TV, and I'm like, okay, eventually she's gonna pick up. I think it's like the Babysitters Club show. Whereas when we were growing up, the Babysitters Club was really innocent and stuff like that. So I'm watching it with her, and I noticed I'm like, oh, little girl, she's so cute doing her ballerina stuff and having on her little tutu. Then later in the show, I realized it's not a girl, it's a boy. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, I didn't
but
say anything then.
is that not
Then I'll
innocent
go,
though? Still,
So
because
look,
is that
Kurt.
not innocent? Because I feel like how you paint it is how they're gonna receive it. So if
Well,
I
mm-hmm,
paint it as innocent, they're gonna receive it as innocent. Like it ain't causing any harm. In my opinion, I also got two girls too, so my opinion is a little bit different. I'm a bit more
that's
woke
fine.
than
no, I have
both.
a girl.
So and I was raised a lot different. So it's like I don't think it's. I think a lot of, especially like to your point, I watch a lot of cartoons with my kids, a lot of movies. We're gonna see a movie tomorrow, but it's like a lot of the stuff that's now being more normalized, like the same sex couples and the kissing and the interactions like that. I think as adults, I've noticed it on social media, we tend to over sexualize it because we've all had sex at some point. We've all been sexualized at some point. So we over sexualize it. That child may not see it that way. So I try to see it through their eyes, like dumb it down some and go, they don't even see what we see.
So
Because
so 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 wait a minute, hold up though, Kurt, right? So we already said that these children are learning things much faster today, right? The reason why they're learning things so fast today is because of devices like this, right? They're computers in their pockets, and there's people on the other side of these, and they're called influencers, right? So if you don't have the conversation with your kid
mm-hmm.
first, trust and believe somebody else will. And they may or may not even relay the information that they've gotten elsewhere
True.
to you until it's too late.
Right.
Mhm.
So, hey, I'm going to play the offense and I'm going to be the influencer, right? I'm going to pour into them and talk to them about those topics. I don't want to have
Hmm.
a conversation with my son about sex at 18 and he's been doing it since he was 12.
Thanks.
Hmm.
You
Yes,
know,
like when
Well,
she's.
no,
I
no,
guess
no,
we
no,
kind of
no, no,
skipped
no.
that. Like,
Wait,
I guess we
hold
kind
on,
of skipped
Kurt.
that because I was like, I mentioned that when it comes up, it gets tackled. Nothing gets
Hmm.
past me at all.
Right.
But I'm not. But again, I'm not actively going like about this sex, bro. No, you know what I'm saying. If it comes up, we talk about it because I know if my daughter's 15, luckily she has a mom and we co-parent really well, so the conversation has been had already. But it wasn't an offensive thing. Once she started showing interest in kids and once she started getting her mind in that way, we said, hold up, let's talk about that. So I don't think it was offensive as much as it was just us just kind of catching it when it was time. I think
Kurt, a
it's
Hmm.
lot
time
of
for all
stuff.
that.
I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't know how old you are, but a lot of stuff is getting past us. I mean, like, look, my first computer was in the den. It was AOL dial-up, like, ching,
Oh yeah, you
like,
had to go in
no,
there
no,
where
no,
everybody could see you use it.
no,
Yeah,
no, yeah,
Mhm.
everybody could see me,
yeah.
bro. Like, my first time realizing my son was watching porn is because his cell phone accidentally connected to my Bluetooth speaker. Okay, he probably had
Very.
been watching porn for a minute already.
Oh, that
All
wasn't the
right.
first time he watched it. No, I guess he
Had it not been for that
You're
though,
looking at Google
we would
search.
have
Time would have passed. Yep. Yep.
it would have been past me.
Looking at
Kids
search.
are popping pills in school. They ain't just smoking
Hmm.
weed no more today.
He's
Kindergartners
telling
are
the
starting
truth
to look
about
up
that.
when
kissing.
I was in school, maybe I had different. When I was in school, we were doing worse stuff. And not, I say
Bro,
we loosely. The kids I went to school, we were doing worse stuff. But
Mm.
you know,
I
it's
don't
kind of
know
like,
if we could be doing worse stuff than these kids, man. Hey, I'm being the music is different.
yeah,
You
I think
used
the
to have
statute of
to
limitations
figure out
is
what the
up on
R
that
and
stuff
B was
now from when I
about.
was in school. But like when I went to some stuff, like I went to parties and them kids were getting down, man. Like, and I was what you consider a good kid. Them kids are getting down on it. Like it's stuff I had never seen before. And I was from the hood. So I'm thankful that we can. So the fact we have these conversations to kind of curtail that behavior anyway. The kids that's doing that stuff ain't on this call nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of stuff like because we care enough to at least reach out and do that. I don't think you'll have that problem. I'm not gonna have that problem. Nobody in this Zoom looking box is gonna have that problem. But I feel like that's a problem that people had to face as a whole. Because I coach a lot of kids that had that legit like parents don't pay them no mind. You see them
Yeah.
phones, you get disgusted.
I think that we as parents. Go ahead, Clee. I can't hear you. You are you muted? Okay. What I think we don't give enough credit to the curiosity and access that children have. I mean, it's so powerful. Their
Huge.
curiosity is baited by social media, which they have at fingertips every single day. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that we, because we're not as into, I guess, things that are intriguing us as much. But kids at 12, 13, 14, full access to any single thing, communication from people across the globe instantly. Uh, I don't think you can get in front of, I don't think you can be too aggressive with what you talk to them about. And the conversation has to be about consequences.
Hmm.
Consequences of actions or consequences of how vital it is. Now,
Yes.
everybody on this call, maybe not the 23-year-old young lady up there, but we are so glad. We are so glad we didn't have social media when we were in our prime. So we are beyond glad. No clips, no video snips of me in high school and stuff like that. I thank God I came along when I did. Because one act, one thing could be out there forever nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, if you wasn't there, you wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't in the room or wasn't in that place, you don't know what happened. But these days, it could be viral in a second. One act that you do, and that's a lot of pressure. But I don't think you can get in front of it. And I'm very behind on having certain conversations with my kids. Obviously, I'm very behind on having certain conversations with them because I have the same thought. Like when they get ready, they'll talk to me. Well, they're probably by the time they come
Ready.
talk to you, they've talked to 10 people or 15 people or 30 people or 30 of their peers already. So their mind is made up. Now you can get in there and be combative with them or tell them it's wrong, and we know how that goes sometimes. So
I-
between curiosity and the consequences of it, and just the actions. I don't think we can get in front of everything, but I agree with Mr. Tremaine. I assure you, if you get wind of it, or they talk about it, or ask you about it, they have done the research well well
Yeah.
in advance of coming to you.
We want to
My
give.
thing,
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
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 I want to give Miss Lakili, Mr. Rodney, and Day a chance to comment on the subject if they would like to. Miss Lakili.
Actually, yeah, I
Okay,
would
Day.
like to. So,
Go
me
ahead.
growing up in the era where social media did exist, I kind of wish it didn't for a lot of reasons because, like, um, Hello Black Man said, it is a lot of
Mhm.
pressure. Um, Especially, it's already enough pressure just being a kid in school, period. But to know that you all of your peers and all of these other people that have access to you are on social media, it adds a lot of more pressure and a lot of more stress, which leads to cyber, from cyberbullying and things of that nature. And as far as your kids, I know for me personally, I kind of just wish that I had that my parent left that window open for me to come talk to them about my curiosity so that I wouldn't have to ask my peers. But I don't think my mother was comfortable enough to have those conversations because I know for a parent it is kind of hard to find the right thing to say to your child when they ask about sex or something that kids ask about everything, like, so you never know what kind of question your kid is going to ask you, but to let them know that they can comfortably come tell you about their curiosities without you like brushing it off or shutting them down or just attacking them, I feel like will help you guys, or and even me, because I am dealing with a 16-year-old. Luckily she doesn't give us those problems, but just letting her know that it's okay to have that curiosity and to come talk to us because your peers all can only tell you from a child's perspective, and we can tell you from experience, I'll say. So I feel like that's the best way to kind of stay on top of it, and that's what I'm working on with her. But like I said, we don't have those problems with her, so I'm praying that I don't go through those things with my 2-year-old. But I got a long way to go. So yeah, hopefully y'all there to coach me.
Lakili, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm the oldest, so I do have a 17-year-old sister who pretty much raised, and me having a 6-year-old, so two totally different kind of spans. But even with the 17-year-old, she won't go to my mom for things. She'll come to me, usually because it's an age thing. I grew up in the social media. I'm fresh 30, just turned 30. So I kind of entered when social media started taking off with MySpace. And I agree with Day. I wish there was no social media back then because the things that piqued my curiosity at a young age that came back to kind of bite me later. I know I can't protect in this day and age, protect the 17-year-old. She's almost grown now. I wish I could protect her from some of the things she's discovered, but I can't. My 6-year-old, I try to be as open as possible when she comes to me with questions. Like I don't yell, scream, or go off, or how you find that, or where you see that at. It's kind of like, okay, she's asking a real life question because she wants to know. That's the curiosity of it. So I have to answer. I guess I treat it more like a small adult type of thing because I don't pacify it. I don't baby it for her. One, because my 6-year-old is extremely intelligent. So I'm like, if she's asking this question, she's really interested. And I'm not gonna lie to her or dumb it down for her. And then
Mhm.
she goes and she finds out the real, or she thinks like, oh well, this is okay to do because mom didn't really talk about it in depth with me, or I know how to keep it when it's kid level, but also to keep it real. Like this is not okay. For your age, this is not okay. This is adult stuff. This is the age range. And most times, her 6-year-old brain, she's kind of like, okay. She just keep it moving. I'm sure more questions will come back later, but the last thing I want to do is dumb it down to where I'm like, yeah, you just saw, you know, two people about to engage in sexual encounters. And like, yeah, you can do that. No, that's adult stuff. You shouldn't be paying attention to that. It's too much for your brain to comprehend. And then also, like I said, I'm a child of God, so I approach it also from a biblical standpoint. which may not be popular for some people, but I do. Sex is what two people do when they're married. Granted, I wasn't married when I did it, but I still want to try my best to instill that in her because it wasn't instilled in me. I was kind of left to figure it out and get it from my peers and social media and opened up doors that I shouldn't have. So I'm trying to keep my daughter from getting to that point. The 17-year-old, she's gone through some of those things. So there's only so much I can kind of do.
All right, well, wrapping up with you, Mr. Rodney. Did you have
Say,
anything?
say the best for last, man. I appreciate you. I like to chime in on what I heard. I guess a few people say, "Alexa, stop." Um, Basically, what I teach my children is what's going on, and I think us as parents, we just can't be so naive to think that our children don't know. You know, before I can even talk about what happened in Houston at the Astroworld concert, my 7-year-old say, "Daddy, I know 8 people died." You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, well, we just got to talking about it a little bit more. But these kids know. Just like M5 said, they got a computer in their hand, and both of my kids have cell phones, 9 and 7. But of course, I limit all these app downloads and things like that because it takes up a lot of their time. Sex, lesbian, gay, things like that. We haven't got to talking about those things. However, I'm more than open to discussing it with them because why? They see the Lil Nas X video, they see Lifetime shows where two men are kissing on each other. And of course, I change the channel or I just say, hey man, close your eyes or something. But at the same time, um, I play offense and defense. I mean, we the head coach. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we definitely have to do our best job and try to prevent it. But our best thing that we can do is teach our children. The biggest conversations I've had so far this year and last year, I would say, was the George Floyd talk as far as police brutality with young African American kids and adults, and also just recently, me and both of my kids sat down and watched the Colin Kaepernick series on Netflix, and it just kind of shows the fact that everybody in this panel is African American. So what's going to happen? It doesn't have to be football. It can be in any field you are working in. You will be discriminated against. You know how you can fit the profile. You can just be better than somebody, but they pick that person instead of you. So all those things I'm very open to talking to my children about. Uh, we have group like we have it now as this panel where we sit down and discuss things. How you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? I feel like a 7, Daddy. All right, cool. What it take to get to a 10? But overall, it's just a matter of how you teach your children and the fact that they know. If they know, it empowers them to make their own decision. That way, you don't have to worry about what my child gonna do whenever I'm not around. So overall, that's pretty much my approach. But to answer the question, I treat my kids like small adults.
Um, I had a million thoughts. I didn't write them down, so of course they're gone. Fleeting old brain. You all made very valid points. I saw a TikTok the other day where a guy was talking about teaching his kids about the birds and the bees, and he said, you no longer can talk about just the birds and the bees. Now you got to talk about the birds that look like the bees that look like the birds that once were bees, but now they're birds, and the bees that once were bees, but now they're birds. And it's like, and that's reality, because if we don't get ahead, and I understand where Kurt is coming from, because Kurt, I'm a girl. And there were some things I don't care how open my dad was. I was not going to tell him. It didn't matter what he said. I'm just not going to tell my daddy these things. It's a level of just maturity that you have to talk to your dad. And I'm a daddy's girl, whole soul. When I first got pregnant, he was the first person I told, but I didn't tell him previously that I was doing what it took to get pregnant. That's not what I wanted him to know. So, but I admire, like I said, you as a father and the things that you do. So just, keep your mentality. It's okay. Everybody has their opinions, and that's what makes us all different and all unique.
Well,
And
that's I don't say like to kind of make it whole. I don't want green kids, but I don't want jaded kids either.
Right.
Like I don't want kids. We've all made them kids that's like oversaturated. Like whoa,
Yes.
like but we make kids who are totally green, and we like you gonna be held. You gonna get taken advantage of in college.
That's
So I think
fact.
there's a ebb and flow to it. Whereas,
Hmm.
and also personality types matter. I talked to my youngest child and I talked to my oldest child too. So whereas my methods may work for each one, but on a different scale. If one gets like 60-40, the other one get 80-20 of that green versus, versus like jaded piece. So it depends. So it's case by case basis.
You
Everybody got
keep
different
it
kids.
balanced.
So I don't know none of y'all kids. So I'm sure what works for y'all works. It's a lot of trial and error on my part,
A lot.
and
All of
trust
it.
and believe.
On
More
all of
more more
us.
error.
That's for every.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody.
Definitely.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
Debbie, who
I
you?
have children. I have children that overshare. Like I talk to Jamie all the time. Like my children tell me stuff that I don't want to know. Like they come to me, talk about everything under the sun. They got questions, and I'm just like, you
Cherish
you,
that.
you want to know from me?
Yeah.
Cherish that, because when they stop talking to you, you're gonna wish they would.
Listen, I believe I halfway believe you, but some days I'll be like, listen, give me just a minute. I got to process what you asking me because right now I
Yes.
can't process it.
That's exactly how I am. She's like, well, this happened in school, and this person said this, and then this went on,
Yes.
and this went on. I'm like, wait a wait,
Hold
wait.
on, give me a second.
Meanwhile, I'm texting my other
Yes.
friends that are parents, like, oh my gosh, Olivia just told me this. I don't know whether to be happy, mad. I'm happy that she told me, mad, because I got to try to figure out how to respond to it,
It's
because I need to get on
reality.
top of what they already talking about.
It's
It's the
reality.
same with my 17-year-old sister. 'Cause I'm like, my God, I don't think I told mom none of this. And she's like,
Nothing.
well, I can't tell mom, but I can tell you. I'm like, hold on, sis.
It's
Don't
too
tell
fast.
me. I don't want to know. Yeah, wait. We gotta
Yeah,
figure out how to talk about it first.
y'all, we literally have 4 minutes. As Mr. Five said, Mr. M5 said, we were not going to get through this conversation in an hour.
Yeah.
So
But
this is going to be broken up into segments. This is a
it's
juicy conversation, and then you gotta have
It
you got a lot of
is.
parents on here with stuff to say, questions and stuff like that. Like
We
fact.
long winded.
we could probably talk on here real live until like 12 o'clock, and
No
everybody
joke.
will be.
No joke. But I mean, like I said, this doesn't end here. And if you guys are willing to, we will do this every other Thursday, or we'll do it once a month to make sure that we get all the topics in because we got single parents and co-parents and child support. We
Yes,
got all that stuff to talk about. But we're
yes, because I need to learn and I have questions.
Okay.
we're gonna wrap this session up though on the last question that was on the first topic, which was what do you wish you knew as a child, young adult, that could have led you to making better decisions? And we'll start at the bottom with Miss Jabria and we'll come back around to the top.
The
Jay.
importance of having boundaries. They didn't talk to me a lot about boundaries at all. I had none whatsoever. It wasn't until maybe I was 30, 31, that I started realizing I need to have some boundaries because I was doing everything for everybody. I had no boundaries at all. And that's what I need to make sure. That's the one thing I make sure that my daughter knows about boundaries. It's okay to say no. It's okay to not do it. Just, have to do it respectfully and make sure that people respect you and you have to respect others.
That is so important. That is invaluable. So much so. Rodney, what you got?
Um, as a child, I mean, I just wish I would have believed in myself at an earlier age instead of trying to get like validation from my father. He, I don't want to, say certain things, but I was just trying to get that, good job, son, or you did that right, or like a hug or something. So a lot of times I was just investing in something that would impress him, and I never got to that. Even at 38 years old, I'm still not there. So I just wish I just would have, believed in what I wanted to do early on in life versus later in life.
That's a great point. That's awesome to know. Miss Lakili.
I think I'd agree with both of you really, but Rodney more so because um like I said, I was the oldest, so I kind of jumped more into raising my siblings and I didn't really take time for me. And so everything I did was to to get what I saw, not to bash my mom was a great woman, but to get what I saw her give to my younger siblings, because she couldn't give it to me because she was young.
Mhm.
So I found myself doing things and seeking the approval of everybody, specifically her. And I didn't come into that realization probably until I had my daughter, when, she didn't respond the way that I felt like she should have responded when I told her I was pregnant. Because I'm like, I did everything right. What you mean? Went to college, got married, got a house, had a baby. Like, I did what's the American dream, and it seemed like it wasn't enough. And so I
Right.
found myself like trying to make it enough. And I had to realize that that wasn't going to come from her. It wasn't something she could give me.
Right.
Facts. Facts. Great. And Rodney, I want to say also you're not alone, but Lakeely already summed it up. We all wanted validation from somebody, So Jamie, what do you have to add to that?
Uh, I would want to know as a child, 8, 9, 10 years old, the mistakes that my parents made financially and what I could do better at a very young age, 14, 15, first job, not just job, but hey, let me tell you some things that you could do for yourself. You know what I'm saying? What skills you can acquire to be your own boss and just have those options. At that point, we're not talking about in high school in ninth through 12th grade. Nobody talks about stocks. Nobody talks about bonds. Nobody talks about any of that, taxes. Like, you're missing out on some golden financial stuff, dividend stocks, all this stuff been around our whole entire life. And at 14, 15, 16 years old, you said, hey, your parent had to say, hey, I didn't invest in dividend stocks, but at 16, you can. At 36, we done. At 36, we retired from whatever job, wherever, whenever. I just wish that kind of information had been really set down and said, hey, let me get you on a better path than I was on.
It would have to be known to them in order to get you on that path. And that's something I want to highlight, because I know growing up, my father was cash everything. My father paid cash for his house, he paid cash for all of his vehicles. Don't have credit right now, trying to figure out why. We have a lot more access to things that they didn't have access to. So, I don't want to, say that they're not to blame, but they didn't know. They just didn't know. But I'm glad that we have access and we can pass it on to our kids. Awesome points. But Mr. Financial over there, he gonna get you straight. Your parents didn't give it to you, but I bet you he got the knowledge for you. Mr. M5, tell us what you wish you knew as a kid.
So let me just say, one, I really agree with Jamie. But what I wish I'd known as a kid, someone had told me, was that I didn't have to be my mom's husband. I wish somebody had told.
Ooh.
I felt like I had to be the man that she never had, which as a kid, sounded, I mean, I thought it was a good thing, but I think I ended up subjecting myself to a lot of stuff, trying to be something that I could never be to her. So I wish someone had told me that I didn't have to do that. Because I used to hear my mom talk about, men wasn't this, she used to say niggas wasn't this and wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I knew she was talking about black men. And I just wish I had someone to just say, hey, you know what? That ain't your problem.
Right. That's deep. That is so deep. As single parents, you really have to understand that. Kurt, sex is man live, so he say.
Um, I
Tell
mean,
the
I
people.
think about this a lot actually. The stuff I always, one of my quotes I always put on my stuff for my athletes is "Be who you needed when you were younger." So that's one I think I always give young people. I always wish I knew how basic and unprepared for adulthood adults were, because as a kid we're taught that adults know everything. I don't know when it started. Like, respecting your elders became an all knowing thing. Adults don't know. I ain't gonna cuss on your stuff. Adults don't know a whole lot of nothing.
Freedom to
I'm a
speak
well versed
freely.
person in a lot of stuff, and I still don't know everything. Like, the smartest person know they don't know enough. And I met so many adults in my later teen years, my early 20s, who knew everything. But when the older I got, the more educated I got, I'm like, that was dead wrong. So I
Mm.
wish I'd have known earlier, like around my late single digits and early teen years, how much adults didn't know, so I can say, okay, sure, and go about my own way about it and forge my own way. Kind of similar to
Mhm.
what like Jamie said with the financial stuff. I had interest in that kind of stuff way early on. But I didn't have the zeal to go about it because those told me you sell your money and get this account and debit, cash, cash, cash. I didn't, but they didn't know any better. To your point, they were ignorant to the facts of the greater part that could be had. It's little stuff like that. That my college choices, my choices of what I did after school, the career I chose was based on adults who I thought knew everything, tell me what to do. And if I feel like things turn out great. I'm happy with where I am in life, blessed and highly favored. But I feel like I would love to see what I would have done with different information.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yes.
So now we all know adults don't know nothing, but it took a while to get there.
Clearly understand. That is so true. Everything that you said. Miss Day, tell us. Well, what do you wish you knew in your younger adulthood? Well, you're in young adulthood, your teenage
2 years ago, what we talking about?
What do you wish you knew
So
then?
I wish I knew how important peace and alignment is.
Woo.
And I say that
Ooh.
because if you are not at peace or in alignment, your whole world will come crashing down. You let other people affect your mood, your money, how you move, and everything else. Like you cannot do anything without peace and alignment. So I
Are
wish
you
that was
23
something.
or 53?
In my
Ali.
head, I am an old soul. Like I am not a clubber. I am a book reader, and I stay at home with my kids. Like literally, I'm not your average 23-year-old. As you heard me say, I have a 16-year-old bonus child, so that kind of gives
Y'all
you an
listen.
idea of where my mindset is. But
Well said. Well said.
yeah, I recently learned that this year, you guys, when I was homeless. But I honestly, peace and alignment is everything. Like you can't do anything without it.
Y'all listen, that baby done brought tears to my eyes. Let me tell y'all something. Without peace, that you listen, life don't even operate well
Right.
without peace. Like you have nothing, and it has taken me this long. So for you to be at the tender age of 23 and know how important peace is, that is a blessing. Consider yourself blessed, and don't let nobody take it
Thank you.
from you because people will come in and they'll try to steal it, they'll try to take it away, but keep it right here. Keep it right here. Like we there, me and peace. The thing that I wish that I knew as a child was how, and I can't harp on this enough, how important it is to take your birth control. I will forever stand on that. I'm so glad that the methods are far greater than they were when I came along. Because if I knew then what I know now, I would be up here talking to y'all. That's all I'm saying. But I love my children. I love you guys for coming on here and talking and being a part of this conversation. We are just 7 minutes over the time, but please, y'all stay in here. We're gonna close this out and we're going to do a debriefing. Thank y'all again. If you guys want to tell people where to find you at, you can go through right quick. Dave, start with you. Tell people how to find you, how to follow you, what you got coming up.
So like I said before, have recently started my nonprofit Day by Day for battered women and depressed women. So if anybody would like to donate, I am doing 2 donation pickups for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I am accepting cash donations. Everything will go towards that charity, that the nonprofit. You can follow me on Instagram at day.styles with a Z. And at Daydream, I don't, guys, it's long, but just follow me on Instagram and you'll see everything.
Kurt.
Thank you guys for having me here.
Cool.
Honestly.
Facebook, Kurt L. McAfee, Instagram at CutFit. It's mostly training stuff. But if you follow, I guarantee I'm pretty entertaining sometimes. You might laugh. Who knows? So
Mr.
that's it.
Mr. M5.
I'm alive, Kurt, because I thought I was the sexiest dad alive, bro.
I thought my boo was, but
Ooh, we all
There
are, we
is
all are, we all.
no
Shots
lack of
have been
confidence in
fired.
this room tonight.
Right, the truth hurts
Confidence is
sometimes. It's
everything.
okay,
That's
fellas.
half the battle.
Ain't nothing wrong with second place.
So yeah, you can follow me at M5 The Family Hustle. That's actually our podcast page that we're putting together right now. You can also follow me at Mr. M5 MFIVE on Instagram.
Jay, we'll go with you and go across.
Facebook, you can find me on Lux80, that page, or J Kishonda. Instagram, you can find me at J_just us 2 or Lux.80, which is a lot of motivational and confidence building stuff on that page. Yeah. And if you need to, I have a journal. You all can look at the journal for kids and parents. You can find that on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles online. And that's about it.
Awesome.
Okay. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at DJ-Roy-D. Also, I posted my website in the little chat right there. You can see that.
Okay.
And also my kids, man, RJ and Sasha on YouTube. I think y'all enjoy it. Some great content and just teaching them how to be great young men. Other than that, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
Y'all can follow me on Instagram at Lakili K Hampton. I'm working on a program right now from Death to Destiny. So I told my testimony at least 2 days ago about this last year journey that I've been from death to destiny, what God has shown me. So I specifically talk a lot about that. I talk a lot about kids because that's all I'm around all day, every day, 24/7. So follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of motivational things, just things that God drops in my spirit. I share. So.
Hello, Black man.
Hello, Black Man. Follow me on Instagram at Hello Black Man Journal. Just a set of motivational, groundbreaking, generational curse breaking tools. That's an opportunity to go through it and answer some questions and have some dialogue. Kickstart some dialogue. Hello Black Man on every other platform. Google me, Amazon me, and that's it, man. Appreciate y'all for being here.
Hello, Black Man. This guided journal is being made available to build character, confidence, and define the inner person.
It has been deemed clear that our culture and our past has hindered Black men from being open and vulnerable. Hello, Black Man.
Hello, Black Man.